right, good morning, everybody. Hello. There's going to be a little more music coming. Welcome to Funky Friday on the Morning Night Live. It's Friday. And because it's Funky Friday, I got my Paisley Park cup here, the symbol of the great one, the immortal Prince. I think they got another album of his coming out pretty soon, I hear. Because he's got enough recorded music before he died to put out like 50 more albums. So the family is going to, I guess, continue to release stuff as we go. So yesterday, when I did my show, I prematurely said that the Queen had passed away. And as I predicted, the family was all rushing to her side. So I said, well, it probably wouldn't be long, because that's just one of those signs that you see when they know that the end is imminent. And of course, as you know, she did pass away. We have a new king in the Great Britain, the United Kingdom. Brits, tell me, is that the same thing? And I don't have a ton to say about it. There's tons of articles. I have some stuff pulled up that'll be in the tabs today that I'm not going to read, but there's a lot of tributes to the Queen out there, and I'll have those in the links that I provide at the end of the show in the second paragraph in the one tab link. But we'll talk about that a little bit, and then I want to talk about Oberlin College, because there's more news on that front. I don't know why my tablet keeps buzzing me, but anyway, so that's pretty much going to be the show today, and hopefully you'll like it. If you don't, well, tell me, what would you like to talk about? I'll check the chat every once in a while if there's things I've missed. Thank you, Norman Ray Boswell or Buswell for subscribing. So here we go. Johnny, I think it's time to play the intro. Johnny.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog Studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, P. Dog Night.
All right, let's get it on. Stop the music. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm going to put a little mood music in the background today. How does that sound? Is that really soft? I hope it is. I want it to be just faint and there. It's Funky Friday. You got to have some music on Funky Friday, right? Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Night on the internet. Welcome back to the P-Dog Night channel, where we have our British flags at half-mast. I didn't have one to put behind me today, but I'm not a Brit, so it ain't happening. But anyway, first, before we even get started, we have our first sponsor today, and I have questions. I definitely have questions. I got a feeling I know where this is really from, just because the style, the grace, the audacity. But Yosef Mengele, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. With the big bullet in the tip jar says, Yosef Mengele says, "You Americans make my German heart beat proud." Now, I haven't the funkiest freaking idea what that means, but thank you, Joseph Mengele. Yeah. I got a feeling that's somehow related to Mr. Migda. Hello, Mr. Migda. Thank you for whatever that was. And also, thank you, Norvin Ray Buswell, for subscribing. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the show. Hope you enjoy your time here. Before we get into it, let's say good morning to everybody, because that's kind of what I do here. First in the chat today is our friend Jethro Hetero, Johnny on the spot. Way to go, Jethro. You get the bell. Excuse me. Also, good morning, Somnambul Nation. Wait a minute. Hold on. I got to pause the music for a second because... Wait a minute. Oh, pause. Thank you. All right. This one, I don't know why I've started doing this, but... Also, good morning to... Oh, wait, did I have some other music? Hang on. Oh, good Lord, here we go. This is going to be one of those days. Anyway, good morning, Tyrannus Alexandrius Invictus Soul. Also known as Tyre Alexander. What's up, brother? Also, good morning. I said Son of a Nation. Simon Wolf was in the house. I'm not going to do that every time, by the way. Hello, Avocados Diablo, the Devil's Advocate. Chicago, Mike's in the house. Mike Savage, Blarg. Also, good morning, Neon Leon. Ronan Wolf, what's up? My friends from just south of where I live. Also, good morning to Black Hebrew Israelite. Man, where you been?
That's right.
Good to see you. Also, good morning, Reaccione, Puerto Rico. My friend from the Hotep Nation. Good morning also to Hate Camel, one of the original viewers of the Morning Night Live. Chicago, I said Chicago Mike. Let's see. Attack Alpaca's in the house. Select a boy.
Yeah, boy.
Also, good morning to John Migda, who shares initials with Joseph Mengele. Jaeger Pony, my favorite Canadians here. Rotten Corpse, DI Freighter Watcher, GDSOB, what's up? And I think am I pretty close? Okay, a bunch of people here. So, welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here. Another sponsor today who's that would be well, this is from the Queen's Ghost. The Queen's Ghost. Thank you for sponsoring the show, by the way. The Queen's Ghost says, oops, I admit I covered for Jimmy Seville. My bad. We're a little saucy today, aren't we? We're just a little saucy when it comes to the Queen and the new King and all that shit. Now, I don't want to insult my friendly Brits who join us in the show. So there are some things from yesterday that made my eyebrow go up. It made me do one of these. But let's just get into the news, because most of the news is about the Queen, about the new King. And so we'll get into that. I'm going to turn the music off for now. We'll save that for super chats. What's the new message here? Grumpy, send me it. That's it. Oh, yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad you gave me that. I think I already have something on that today. All right, here we go. Let's start with things that are trending today. King Charles III is trending today. And that is because with the Jay Pylon, what's up? Good to see you. With the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, Charles is now officially the king. Now, I don't know how that works. I thought you had to, there's some royal coronation or some shit, you know, the like the Archbishop of Canterbury comes down and anoints him or some shit. But he's officially the king, right? Oh, by the way, let me take a sip of my coffee here. By the way, if you ever are in the Twin Cities, Minnesota, the Paisley Park tour is phenomenal. You got to go check it out. It's out in the western suburbs. It's a suburb called Chanhassen, Minnesota. it is just wild. All the cool stuff in there. Especially if you are a Prince fan, but even if you just liked Prince but not necessarily the biggest fan, that tour is phenomenal. Oh, by the way, so I guess it changed the Queen now that's the last name was used. So the Queen's ghost is now the superstar donor of the day. By the way, speaking of sponsoring the show, if you'd like to sponsor the show, there's a couple ways you can do it. First and foremost, hit the like button. That's just that helps the algorithm. Hit the like button, share the stream. If you're watching on replay, put a comment in the comment section, and you can sponsor the show monetarily at pdognight.live, where you can watch the show, you can chat. You don't have to, click a bunch of other places, whatever. Or you can do YouTube super chats. That's fine too. The best thing about the Streamlabs, which is pdognight.live, is you get more characters no matter how much you donate. I mean, super chats limit you. If the smaller donation, the fewer characters you get. Well, with pdognight.live, you don't have that problem. You can put up to 255 characters, like as much as a tweet. You can put a whole tweet in the what we call the prioritized chats, and then there's a couple other options down below. Okay, that's enough of that. I used to have a commercial I ran, but it's kind of outdated. I look older now than when I made that commercial, so I have to film a new commercial. Anyway, all right, let's talk about King Charles III. So obviously King Charles III is trending today. Queen Elizabeth still trending today. All the things that have to go on with that. So here is just the the Twitter topics. So CNN, ABC, AP all have information on King Charles. Apparently, Charles and his wife Camilla, the Queen Consort, is okay. Someone, any Brits out here can tell me what Queen Consort means? I know that I thought it was just Queen. Oh, this thing already refreshed anyway. Well, here, let's go to the AP article. Britain mourns Queen Elizabeth as Charles becomes king. And then put this stupid pop-up over the top. Bells tolled across Britain on Friday, and mourners flocked to the palace gates to honor Queen Elizabeth II as the country prepared for a new age under a new king. Around the world, her exceptional reign was commemorated, celebrated, and debated. King Charles III, who spent much of his 73 years preparing for the role, planned to meet with the Prime Minister and address the nation, grieving the only British monarch most people alive today have ever known. He takes the throne in an era of uncertainty for both his country and the monarchy himself. As the country began a 10-day mourning period, people around the globe gathered at British embassies to pay homage to the Queen, who died Thursday at Balmoral Castle in Scotland. In London, and at military sites across the United Kingdom, special guns fired 96 shots in an elaborate 16-minute salute, marking each year of the Queen's life. In Britain and across its former colonies, the widespread admiration for Elizabeth herself was occasionally mixed with scorn for the institution and the imperial history she symbolized. On the King's first full day of duties Friday, he left Balmoral and flew to London, where he was expected to meet Prime Minister Liz Truss, appointed just this week. He arrived at Buckingham Palace, the monarch's London home, for the first time as sovereign, emerging from the official state Bentley limousine and shouts from the crowd of "God Save the King" and "Well Done, Charlie," and the singing of the national anthem, now called "God Save the King." Yeah, I mean, how long has it been "God Save the Queen"? For 70 freaking years. I mean, I've never heard them say, "God save our precious king." It's the Queen. It's "God Save the Queen." Of course, every time I hear the words "God Save the Queen," I think of is it the Sex Pistols who did that? I think so. The Sex Pistols did "God Save the Queen. She ain't no human being." But now it's "God Save the King." In the evening, he was scheduled to deliver his first speech to the nation as king, one at a time when many Britons are facing an energy crisis, the soaring cost of living, the war in Ukraine, and the fallout from Brexit. Now, it's funny. The Brits are facing the war in Ukraine. That's fascinating. Just like we're facing the war in Ukraine. We're just sending them money and weapons and shit. But, well, it's time of war. A lot of the Democrats like to say that shit. Good morning, by the way, H.P. Lovecraft and Ebony Williams. Nice to see you here. Welcome back. All right. So anyway, so you get the gist. Let's see. Queen of finance worker Giles Cudmore said that the Queen had just been a constant through everything good and bad. Holyrood Palace in Edinburgh. Mourner April Hamilton stood with her young daughter, struggling to hold back the tears. It's just such a momentous change that is going to happen, she said. I'm trying to hold it together today. Everyday politics was put on hold, with lawmakers paying tribute to the monarch in Parliament over 2 days, beginning with a special session where Truss called the Queen the nation's greatest diplomat. Senior lawmakers will also take an oath to King Charles III. So anyway, as you know, like in the United Kingdom, the king or queen, well, now the king, obviously, is the head of state, that's who, welcomes diplomats and shit like that, whereas the parliament is the actual government, which is different, where if the United States, the president of the United States is both the head of the government and the head of state, ceremonial state. So it's just different over there. Real quick, a couple more sponsored chats, I should say. Let's put some music on. Thank you, Prince Harry. Prince Harry has dropped a small bullet in the tip jar. I appreciate it. Who says, I wish I never married this bitch. Oh my goodness. That is a little bit harsh. Yeah, there's a lot of rumors and let's just say tales of questionable sources about Meghan Markle, who did not travel to back to jolly old England with Harry. Yes, we don't know the full story, but if you listen to Oprah, then it's a black thing. Also, thank you to the King of England for sponsoring the show, who says, "Oh my goodness, this might need a different piece of music. Hang on, let me fix this real quick. We'll try this one here. We're gonna switch up the tune a little bit." The King of England is sponsoring the show, and he says, now granted, let me just preface this. I didn't write this. The King of England, that must be King Charles III. The King of England says, about time the old bag kicked the bucket. Now I'm the king now. Bow down and kiss my motherfucking ring. Okay, it doesn't say motherfucking, but I just thought I'd embellish, because that would be, if I was king, be like, about time this old bitch kicked the bucket. I'm the king now. Bow down and kiss my motherfucking ring, bitch. Oh, that's just wrong. Anyway, that was another deuce dropped in the tip jar. Seems like let's see. Well, it looks like Prince Harry is the new Streamlabs. Prince Harry, you're the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. All right. I love this music. Thank you, sponsors. You are Great Britons. Did I say that right? Great Brits. I usually say Great Americans, but you are Great Brits, because it's a bunch of British people. The Queen is Dead by the Smith. Yeah, I think there's a bunch of punk songs. I just have to look at the chat over here. Okay, so I'm gonna get the check because you answered my question. It looks like the queen consort is what you are when you are a queen that is not a holder of the crown. Yeah, that's what I figured. As far as the head of state crown, but you're still the queen because you're married to the king, but you're the queen consort. It's semantic, right? She's the queen without any authority. She holds no dynastic power, unlike Elizabeth. Right. Way to become king in your 70s. Yeah, he waited a long damn time. In fact, he is the oldest ever first-time monarch of the United Kingdom. He was because his mother lived so long, and so he's it's the oldest person ever to become king in the United Kingdom. Let's see. Charles hasn't had a coronation yet. It takes a long time, possibly over a year. Queen consort. Oh, okay. And so she is queen by marriage, correct? More or less. Yeah. I thought after the crap went down with Diana, Charles was never supposed to become king. I thought it was supposed to go to his eldest son. I don't think that's an official thing. I believe I thought that he said he was not going to. I thought it said he was going to abdicate, and who knows if he will or not. By the way, good morning, Eldridge Catastrophe. Nice to see you. Let's see. So I don't know. Yes, Sex Pistols. Yeah, I remember the Sex. It was the Sex Pistols who did "God Save the Queen." Yes, it was. Didn't they name an entire album that, and that was the lead song or something like that? I think of The Rock telling William Regal, "Fuck God Save the Queen," and sing "God Save My Candy Ass." Yeah, the greatest mouth in wrestling. Peggy Laswell. Nazi royals are satanic pedophiles who are heroin drug runners. Knighted pedophiles. Good gracious. That's some strong words. Woo! By the way, welcome, Peggy Laswell. I don't know if you've been here before, but if you haven't, hit that subscribe button and click the bell so that you will get notifications. Let's see. Okay. Prince Harry, you dumb ginger. You should have listened to your brother and ran away from that toxic. Oh, I'm Pothwa. I don't know what that means. Longest waiting monarch. Yes, Queen's tampon is what Charles aspired to be. Look it up. Oh, good God. Y'all are harsh. King tampon. Anyway. No, he will be coronated by the 25th. There is a state event. The crown has to be coming up. Okay. All right, that was a rumor, never confirmed. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for clearing that up. But I'm assuming about he was considering abdicating. But anyway, all right. So, as far as let's see. So, is there anything else in here that I want to mention? I think that's a running thing. Anyway, I know they got the live running feed here where they keep adding to it. King Charles arrived in Buckingham Palace for the first time as Britain's monarch. The king flew to London from Scotland on Friday. It was driven to the royal residence in the official Bentley. A large crowd cheered as the car arrived at the palace gates. Now, let me just say something here, because not everybody is mourning the queen. There's been some nastiness. And apparently, over the last 24 hours, we discovered something known as Irish Twitter. And, the album was Nevermind the Bullocks. Okay, thank you. They did the album for Jubilee Sex Pistols. Okay. Yeah, Nevermind the Bullocks. Okay, I remember. I just couldn't remember the name of the album. So anyway, apparently Irish Twitter has been brutal. And this is kind of a funny little meme here. Black Twitter, Irish Twitter, and Indian Twitter today, basically dancing and not giving an F. I don't know why Black Twitter is all rambunctious about Queen Elizabeth, but Irish Twitter and Indian Twitter, in some cases, were fairly nasty. And also, there was a Nigerian professor in the United States who had some choice words for the end of Queen Elizabeth. Also, Hassan Piker this guy was just a dick. He was like cheering that she died, which is weird. But anyway, Irish Twitter is trending because lots of Americans confused about Irish Twitter because our Anglo-centric education taught us Ireland suffered a famine when it was really a British-led genocide. Okay. Black Twitter, Queen Elizabeth was a colonizer. White Twitter, how disrespectful can you get any more disrespectful to the longest living serving queen in British history? Irish Twitter, hold my beer. That was a terrible Irish accent. Thank you, John Megda, who says, oh wait, it's a super chat, so there we go. Thank you, John Megda, who says, I honestly never super chat as anything by myself. Well, thank you, John Megda, for that dropping the deuce in the tip jar and letting me know, because it is a questionable statement, but I will take it, and I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. Thank you very much. So anyway, let's see. Let's go back to this, because supposedly Irish Twitter would be telling me something, but it's the trending, just people figuring it out. Irish, Indian, Kenyan, Nigerian, South African, and Caribbean Twitter right now. There's a lot. Let's just put it this way: there are people hating on the Queen. Do you live in a country that has not been violently invaded by Britain under Queen Elizabeth II? Well, wait a minute. I got a question. Maybe you all can help me out here. What countries were violently invaded by Britain under Queen Elizabeth II? I'm just curious because I know, for example, didn't India have its independence prior to Queen Elizabeth becoming queen? And I know several countries during her reign as queen became independent. I know Nigeria was one of them. So I'm confused. Do you live in a country that has not been violently invaded by Britain under Queen Elizabeth II? Then you may not understand why people in some countries have mixed feelings about her passing. Ask Black Twitter and Irish Twitter. Ask Black Twitter. Excuse me. Black Twitter? You mean like what's foundational Black Americans or ADOS and the American blacks? Has Britain invaded the United States sometime in the last 70 years? I'm just curious. I am just curious. I get Commonwealth country and former British colonies feeling something away, but some have some class. I know. That's what I'm saying. It's like I can see those countries being mad at Great Britain itself, but why would they be mad about? Why would they be mad about Queen Elizabeth? I don't get it. She's been look, because she became 70 years just before World War II, right? Who has Britain invaded since then? Maybe Grenada. I don't know. No, that wasn't even great. No, the Falklands. I'm sorry, the Falklands. They fought with Argentina over the Falklands. This is just crazy. What up, Chad Lemoyne? I just see you up there too. Anyway, so Irish Twitter's been the words Irish Twitter's trending because they've been pretty rough on the death of Queen Elizabeth. So anyway, now this is a funny little meme. 73-year-old man finally gets a job. Now that's terrible. Come on, man. That gets one of these.
Come on, man.
British people, anyone who's mad at what Uju said has not seen what is going on Irish Twitter. Okay, right. British people asking Irish Twitter and Black Twitter to be respectful to the Queen. Okay. Anyway, I guess I didn't really. Just Irish Twitter trending is one of the reasons why I put that up there. But I haven't. I didn't spend a whole lot of time on Twitter yesterday. Irish potato famine was deliberate genocide that killed 5 million people. Okay, there you go. And so I can understand why the Irish would be mad, could be still mad at the British. Was the Irish potato famine during Queen Elizabeth's reign, though? That's my question, Peggy. And I can understand why a lot of countries would be pissed at Britain. Hell, remember, I live in the United States. We were mad at Great Britain for a while too. So anyway, all right, Big Dro, what's happening? Gen T, good morning, nice to see y'all. All right, let's move on. What else do I got up here? Let's talk about Oberlin College, because Oberlin College is trending today. If you aren't familiar with that story, there was a bakery across the street from Oberlin College, very popular bakery. A lot of Oberlin students went there. It was one of the suppliers for the cafeterias at Oberlin College. They bake fresh bread daily for the school, and they what else did they do? So anyway, this bakery, very popular bakery, until one day, some students that happened to be from Oberlin came into the bakery, and it was a bakery, but also had a lot of other stuff. They sold wine and other stuff, right? And a couple students from Oberlin College got caught shoplifting. The person got caught shoplifting bottles of wine. They bought one bottle, but got caught with 2 others in their bag. And it became a fiasco because the shoplifters just happened to be of the melanin-enhanced variety. And so then the students began protesting the bakery, and the college kind of got into it with a bunch of professors from the college protesting the bakery, saying that they were racist. They've been racist forever. And even though the bakery had a very long and fruitful history with the college, suddenly this bakery became the worst place in the world. They basically tried to shut the bakery down. They stopped doing business with them, and they were protesting and giving them the business. Actually, they weren't giving them the business. They were giving them, the business. But the problem is the college. I got that Reaction. I saw that. I'm going to try to get to that today. If I don't, I'll get to it this afternoon. I might get to that this afternoon because that fits in with my afternoon stuff. By the way, occasionally, if you didn't know, I'm going to be doing some short afternoon streams, probably 30 minutes or less on one single topic, usually a video or something that people send me. And so if you have any videos you want, it's kind of like reaction videos, because it's mostly stuff that I haven't seen. And then we'll just react to it as it pops up on my screen. Thank you again, Reaction Puerto Rico, with dropping a deuce in the tip jar. Have you heard of the Safety Act? Check your Twitter DMs. Yes, I did see that already. So thank you very much. Appreciate the deuce there too. So anyway, Oberlin College. So it's trending day because over the course of several years, this has gone back and forth, and there was lawsuits, and the bakery eventually sued Oberlin College because Oberlin College, as a university, began participating in this attempted destruction of this business, and a jury awarded the bakery. The jury went in favor of the plaintiffs, the bakery, and awarded them a very large sum, like $11 million in compensatory damages, and another like 22 or 23 million or 22 million in punitive damages plus their court costs. So it ended up being like a $36 million verdict. And the Oberlin College refused to pay it. But now they refused to pay it pending some appeal. So that's fine. You can appeal all you want. And so the first appeal went to the district appellate courts. They lost in the district appellate courts. Then it went to the Ohio Supreme Court. They lost in the Ohio Supreme Court. There was a big deal about them saying, well, we're still not going to pay. And so now, as of today, apparently there's an article in the New York Times that says Oberlin College has agreed to pay $36.59 million to bakery that said it was falsely accused of racism after it caught a student shoplifting. Now, let's talk about, first of all, how this is presented. So this is the New York Times tweet. Joe Walsh has it here. First of all, a jury awarded the bakery, a local community jury awarded the bakery this. It's not that they said it was falsely accused. The jury agreed they were falsely accused after caught a student shoplifting. And it kind of fits in with bad legal takes because they lost the case. It's not the New York Times, the way they tweeted this out makes it like, oh, they said they were falsely accused. They lost the case. Now, let me move here. Today, Oberlin College has agreed at long last to pay the nearly $37 million it owes Gibson Bakery, 1 week after Common Sense published this moving essay by the woman who runs it. We'll go through that in a minute, but I want to go through the New York Times article first. Here's the article, because we'll see how this is the first time I'm reading this. Oh my gosh. Peggy, I understand you're very angry about the Queen, but she's dead. Okay? She's dead. Supposedly the Queen Elizabeth flies with her own toilet wherever she goes. She still gets her ass wiped by the groom of the stool, usually a lord. Well, I guess she's not getting that done anymore because there you go. So here we go. Gibson Bakery said, now this is again, the way the New York Times frames this, the reason I wanted to read this article, and I'm sure there'll be backstory in it, I want to read how biased they are and how they treat this. Because, if you can usually tell if they agree or disagree with the verdict. Gibson Bakery said the liberal arts college had falsely accused it of racism after a black student was caught shoplifting. And they caught her red-handed. In fact, she pled guilty in a court of law. Yes, I got the Men Without Hats references, but I'm not sure why that's in there. Oberlin College, known as a bastion of progressive politics, said on Thursday. Now that's an interesting. Who is this art? I don't know. The writer of this is Anemona Hardiculis. I don't know who that is. I'm not familiar with that writer. Oberlin College, known as a bastion of progressive politics, said on Thursday that it would pay $36.59 million to a local bakery that said it had been defamed and falsely accused of racism after a worker caught a black student shoplifting. Now again, there's a jury verdict and 2 appeals that the college failed. But this one, they start the article that it would pay this money to a local bakery that said it had been defamed. Well, the jury agreed. The 2016 dispute with Gibson Bakery resulted in a years-long legal fight and resonated beyond the small college town in Ohio, turning into a bitter national debate over criminal justice, race, free speech, and whether the college had failed to hold students to account. Oh, now you care about free speech. This is interesting. The decision by the college's Board of Trustees announced Thursday came 9 days after the Ohio Supreme Court had declined to hear the college's appeal of a lower court ruling. Okay, so the Supreme Court said, get out of here. Truth Matters, Lee E. Placus, the lawyer for the Gibson family, said in an email Thursday, David, supported by a principled community, can still beat Goliath. Good for him, David. Go ahead, David. In a statement, Oberlin said that this matter has been painful for everyone. It added, "We hope that the end of the litigation will begin the healing of our entire community." Well, it will be for the Gibsons, and good for them. The college acknowledged that the size of the judgment, which includes damages and interest, was significant. But, well, they have $1 billion endowment, so they'll be okay. But it said that with careful financial planning, including insurance, it could be paid without impacting our academic and student experience. Oberlin has a robust endowment of nearly $1 billion with a B, dollars. The case hinged on whether Oberlin officials had defamed the bakery by supporting students who accused it of racial profiling, and the verdict essentially finding that the officials had done so may make other colleges and universities think twice about joining student causes, legal experts said. Well, if it's defamatory, yeah, you might want to stay out of it. Such a large amount is certainly going to make institutions around the country take notice and to be very careful about the difference between supporting students and being part of the cause. That was the problem, said Neil Hutchins, a professor of higher education at the University of Kentucky. It wasn't so much the students speaking, it's the institution accepting that statements uncritically. Sometimes you have to take a step back. Professor Hutchins said, it also made a difference that Gibson's was a small family business, not a large multinational corporation like Walmart or Amazon, which would better be able to sustain economic losses for such a protest. Oh, wow. Now, wait a minute. So, because the size of the business, they would just be able to take the bullshit and let it damage their business. Even if it was a large corporation, it'd be just fine if you damaged that business, because it doesn't really matter if the students defame you, because you can absorb that. But, well, because it's a small business, this is a little bit better, because, Oberlin is a small liberal arts college with a reputation for turning out students who are strong in the arts and humanities and for its progressive politics. Yes, they indoctrinate every student at the school, leaning heavily on its history of being a stop on the Underground Railroad. That is something cool, though, to me. It was a stop on the Underground Railroad. That's its history. Tuition at Oberlin is more than $61,000 a year, and the overall cost of attendance tops $80,000 a year. So it's tuition, room, and board, $80,000 a year. That's more than most people make in a year. That's more than the average salary in the United States for a year. But no, those easy college loans, it has nothing to do with it. Holy shit. The college is also very much part of the town, which is economically dependent on the school and its students. The bakery across the street from the college sold donuts and chocolates and was considered a must-eat part of the Oberlin dining experience. The incident that started the dispute unfolded in November 2016 when a student tried to buy At least they complete this sentence. The incident that started the dispute unfolded in November 2016 when a student tried to buy a bottle of wine with a fake ID while shoplifting 2 more bottles by hiding them under his coat, according to court papers. Alan Gibson, the son and grandson of the owners, who is white,
You're fucking white male!
chased the student out onto the street, where 2 of his friends, also black students at Oberlin, joined in the scuffle. The students later pleaded guilty to various charges. Like Guess it wasn't racial profiling. They pled guilty. The lawsuit filed by Gibson's contended that Oberlin had defamed the bakery when the dean of students, Meredith Raimondo, and other members of the administration took sides in the dispute by attending the protest where flyers peppered with capital letters urged a boycott of the bakery and said that it was a racist establishment with a long account of racial profiling and discrimination. Gibson's also presented a testimony that Oberlin had stopped ordering from the bakery but had offered to restore its business if charges were dropped against the 3 students, or if the bakery gave students accused of shoplifting special treatment, which it refused to do. Good for them. Why would you need to? The store said that the college stance had driven customers away for fear of being perceived as supporting an establishment that the college had tarred as racist. Oberlin disputed some aspects of that account and countered that students were exercising their First Amendment right to free speech. The administration said it had only been trying to keep the peace. The college's court papers also said that Alan Gibson was trained in martial arts and had brought public criticism on the store by chasing the student out of the store and into public food. Nope. You see, you become more racist if you chase the perpetrator out of the store. Well, maybe if the perpetrator hadn't run out of the store, he wouldn't have to if the perpetrator said, "I'm sorry," and just put the wine on the counter and I'll never do it again, I bet it would have been ended. But no, he tried to run out with the wine. God, I'll just let him go. Just be like a San Francisco DA. In the spring, a 3-judge panel of the Ohio Court of Appeals confirmed the jury's finding after a 6-week trial that Oberlin was liable for libel, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and intentional interference with the business relationship, that it had effectively defamed the business by siding with the protesters. The original jury award was even higher at $44 million in punitive and compensatory damages, which was reduced by a judge. The latest amount consists of about $5 million in compensatory damages, nearly $20 million in punitive damages, and $6.5 million in attorney's fees, and almost $5 million in interest. In its ruling, the Court of Appeals agreed that students had a right to protest, but the court said that the flyer and related student Senate resolution, which said the store had a history of racial profiling, were not constitutionally protected opinion. The message to other colleges is to have the intestinal fortitude to be the adult in the room, Mr. Plonka said in an interview after the jury had awarded damages in June 2019. After the 2019 jury award against Oberlin, Carmen Twillie Ambar, the college president, said that the case was far from over and that none of this will sway us from our core values. Well, what would that be? Are your core values to try to get a business to forgive shoplifters and give them special treatment? Is that a core value of Oberlin College? I am curious. I'm assuming Dr. Ambar. The college said then that the bakery's archaic chase and detain policy regarding suspected shoplifters was the catalyst for the protest. Was it now? Would you have done the same for white shoplifters? Because that's what the whole case became about. That's what the whole protest came about. That you had a whole. I remember this distinctly when this was going on because it made national news. They were saying that they were racist, that they were racially profiling the students. Really? So the student that tried to buy a bottle of wine with a fake ID and had 2 more bottles stuffed in his coat, trying not to pay for those, that's racially profiling? Or you just caught someone stealing red-handed? And also endangering your ability to sell wine and or beer, I'm assuming, because if you get caught selling wine to a minor, you lose your license. Oh, so the core values of Oberlin College is to protect those students. Huh? Huh? But in a statement Thursday, Oberlin hinted that the protracted and bitter fight had undermined its relationship with the people and businesses in the surrounding community. Good! Because y'all are acting like assholes. We value our relationship with the city of Oberlin, its statement said, and we look forward to continuing our support and of and partnership with local businesses as we work together to help the city thrive. Good. And maybe you'll tell your students, don't shoplift in Oberlin, the city of Oberlin. So that's the New York Times description. Now, the letter that they spoke of. Let's see. Oh, and here's Josh Kroshar. Okay, that thread is unnecessary. Okay, never mind. But I want to go back to that letter that the lady from the bakery wrote, because this is this a Substack or something like that? Well, here's the letter that Lorna Gibson wrote, and it got published in Common Sense. And now that we know that Oberlin is finally going to pay their fair share, pay what they're owed, or pay the Gibsons what they're owed, because it would look really, really bad. Because one of the things, if you didn't know about judgments like this, in civil judgments, generally, and I don't know if this is the same in every state. I know in Minnesota it's this way. You might get a jury award in a civil judgment, but to collect a civil judgment is 100% on you. Even though they might, you might win a judgment from another party, the party can get away with never paying you. There's no real legal enforcement of them paying you in a civil judgment. But in this case, because it's such a large judgment, such a public judgment, and it's an entity like Oberlin College, they know they cannot get away with not paying this judgment. They could try, but it would be just a nasty mark on their reputation, which their reputation is shit anyway, as far as this, in my opinion, as far as this goes. Now, there are people who still out there believe, oh, no, they racial profiled you. They're racist. That Gibson's Bakery, they're racist. They're racist.
That's racist!
But, no, this has gone through the courts and as far as it's going to go, and I'm glad they're going to finally pay. But here's the editorial that Lorna Gibson wrote that got published in Common Sense. Will I ever see the $36 million Oberlin College owes me? My family is falsely accused of racism by a powerful school in a small town. Our business was destroyed. We won our case, but the school is refusing to pay. On the night of November 8, 2016, Donald Trump was elected president, and the country was forever changed. But for my family, it was the following night, November 9th, 2016. Oh, I forgot. This was the day after Donald Trump was elected. And so anything racial that day was amplified, I guess, because Donald Trump, right? It's Donald Trump's fault. Let's see. The next night, November 9th, that our world was turned upside down and was never been set right. Late that night, my husband David came home from work and told me that there had been a shoplifting incident at our bakery, Gibson's. We've been in business for 137 years, so we've had our fair share of shoplifters, including earlier that very week. That particular night, a student from the local college, Oberlin, tried to steal 2 bottles of wine and use a fake ID to buy a third. Our son Alan had pursued him across the street. 2 more students got involved. Alan was beaten up pretty badly, and the students were arrested. Racial profiling. David was afraid the incident would blow up since the students claimed to the police that my son had assaulted them, not the other way around. He told me that he was scared it would hurt our business since the students who were arrested were black and bystanders were already claiming that Alan had racially profiled them. Nope, caught him red-handed. Hello, Zombie Teddy. But none of us had any idea what was about to happen. The next day I opened the store around 7 a.m., soon got a sense of what David feared. Over the next few hours, hundreds of students began to gather in front of the store. They chanted "Boycott Gibson's" and held signs that said we were white supremacists. They called us racists on their bullhorns. The students weren't alone. College administrators were there too, handing out flyers and addressing the crowd on a bullhorn. The protesters also distributed flyers that said that we had a long account of racial profiling and discrimination. They blocked the door and screamed at customers who elbowed their way through to the counter. A few came in to record videos on their phones of our customers. This went on all day. Late that night, when I went to collect the tables and chairs that we keep outside for customers, I was surrounded by screaming protesters. I was frightened, and all I could think of was I needed to keep our employees safe. The next day, the protests continued, though police were mostly able to keep them across the street, but the damage to our relationship with the school and its students had already been done. By November 9th, our relationship to the school had been before November 9th, our relationship to the school had been wonderful. We delivered pizza dough, bagels, and cookies to the dining halls every day. We did pie and ice cream socials for Parents' Weekend and pastry trays for parties. I worked as a nurse at the local hospital until 2002, but if there was a large order, I'd often help David deliver the trays of baked goods to campus. A week after the incident, the school canceled all of our standing orders. That was just the beginning of my family's nightmare. The school put out a statement that implied that this wasn't an isolated incident. Now, again, this is the school put out the statement, and this is why the school got sued. The school student senate passed a resolution urging the school to cut ties with us, which was posted in a display case at the student center. Our business from the student themselves and administrators. We have a small grocery store and sell beer and wine in addition to our pastries and candies, dried up completely, and the students kept showing up to protest. David met with the president of the school along with other administrators to try to get Oberlin to retract its baseless claims that we were racist and to quell the small group of students who, in their passion, had gotten us so wrong. But Oberlin would not even consider issuing a statement and allowed the public to believe that we were, in fact, racist, even after the students pled guilty, the students that stole from them. Instead, the school proposed a deal where, in the future, if a student were caught shoplifting, we'd call the dean instead of the police. My husband and his dad believed firmly that everyone should be treated equally, so they refused. Eventually, in 2017, we felt that we had no choice other than filing a lawsuit against Oberlin for libel, among other things, because David's 89-year-old father, who had dedicated his life to the business, did not want to die being falsely branded a racist. By the time the trial had started, things were falling apart. We couldn't make payroll, so we had to let go of half of our employees and cut our operating hours way back. My father-in-law, who made bagel deliveries from the college to the college into his 80s, loved to sit outside the store all day and talk to whomever went by. He was a fixture in the community. Since word about the business with the college had spread, he'd sit outside for hours and hours, but no one would talk to him. It broke his heart and mine. Calling us racist wasn't just wrong, it was deeply painful to our core. During the months leading up to the trial, my husband receded from view. We didn't really talk like we used to, and we took to coexisting in our home. He was so worried about the trial, he didn't want to worry me. I had a lot on my plate too. My mother, who was suffering from dementia, was living with us. One of our bakers, his wife, an Oberlin graduate, and a 2-year-old had moved into our living room because his wife was dying of ALS. My father-in-law got badly injured. He moved in with us too. So they had a bunch of people in the house. Holy shit. To add on to everything else, 6 months before the trial began, my husband David was diagnosed with advanced pancreatic cancer. He was still working from 7 in the morning to 11 at night, but the cancer treatments were brutal. Once the trial started, David decided to pause the treatments so he could be as strong as possible in the court. It was important to him that the jury did not find out he was sick. He wanted the case to be decided on the basis of the facts alone. When the jury found in our favor, they ruled that we were owed $44 million in damages, which was later reduced to $31 million. Relief washed over me. I thought we would finally be able to put move past this and get back to work. But after the verdict was handed down, David and I left Oberlin to seek treatment for his cancer at bigger hospitals in the South and in New York. We found out that the cancer had spread during the trial and that we had no recourse. But before he died in 2019, David asked me to keep the store going, just keep the doors open no matter what. He said he gave his life for the store, and I promised him that I would do everything I could to honor his final wish. Still haven't seen a penny from the school. In 2019, Oberlin appealed to have the jury verdict overturned. Ohio's 9th District Court of Appeals rejected Oberlin's claims and upheld the jury's verdict. But in May of 2022, Oberlin appealed again to the Ohio State Supreme Court to try to avoid the jury's decision. Thankfully, earlier this week, the Ohio Supreme Court denied Oberlin's appeal and ruled that the school must pay us $36 million. But even with the most recent ruling, the college, which has about $1 billion worth of assets at its disposal, still refuses to pay. We hope that with time, the kids who started all this would graduate and the new students would come in and the whole drama would fade. But I'm told that freshmen are still told to boycott us. Parents who come in tell me their kids have been brainwashed to hate us. I was with my father-in-law, Alan Sr., when he died several months ago at the age of 93. We laughed a lot during his last days. He loved his stories and he was telling them until the end. Most of them revolved around the bakery, like when Stevie Wonder came in. Alan Sr.'s last words to my son a few days before he died were, "Do good, honest work." That's what I've tried to do, like my husband and his parents and their parents and their parents. I open the store every day except Christmas at 8 a.m. I start by bringing down products from the kitchen, stocking shelves, and then ordering ingredients and cleaning the store. Alan Jr. and his wife, Erin, take care of our tech, our e-commerce business, and payroll, and hand dip our chocolates. At night, I pay bills and do the paperwork, which is endless. My house is quiet now. The family and friends I took care of are all gone. During the week, my girlfriends come in to have coffee and snacks. We have some lunch, local people from the surrounding towns who support us, but it's not enough. Our shelves are bare because there's no foot traffic anymore, so we don't bother stocking them. Before, there was a constant stream of people coming into the shop. Now we might have 1 or 2 customers throughout the whole morning. We still sell our whole wheat donuts and apple fritters, chocolates, and candies with homemade caramels, but far fewer of them. If I got the money from the college, I wouldn't buy a house or go on vacation or leave Ohio. I would replace the compressors for the refrigerators and replace the fryers and proofers that we use for our dough. I would pay off the mortgages on my properties that I've taken out in the past few years. I hired back employees and ramp up production. While the Ohio Supreme Court's recent decision has made us hopeful, if the money doesn't come through within a couple months, I'll be forced to declare bankruptcy and shut the doors of Gibson's for good. What are we getting F's for? Did this stream stop? Today, I'm worried about the future of this town. I grew up here. I met David at a party in 1978, and we didn't leave each other's side until he died in 2019. My husband was offered a partnership in chemistry at Ohio Wesleyan after he graduated from there, but there was no question that he'd come back to Oberlin and the bakery. At 23, before we were married, I was already running a Gibson's branch in Elria. He baked a 5-tier stunner for our wedding. I can't provide wedding cakes for this town anymore, but I want to. I believe there's room for both Gibsons and the college to exist. A couple of months ago, a young girl came into the bakery. She told me she was thinking of coming to school and that she'd heard horrible things about our store, that we were racist, and that we should be boycotted. She knew our story, the real story, and said that all the negativity directed towards us was a turnoff for her. I said that she should make her own decision. That's what college is for. Then I told her that I'd love to see her come to school here, and I'd like to see her come into the bakery if she does. I hope we'll still be here. So, so bad. She survived this terrible ordeal. And now the school is finally going to pay. So I really hope that she's able to do what she wants for Gibson's Bakery. And maybe, just maybe, this story will get out. And is this an article or her daily diary? This is, well, it's a letter she wrote or to Common Sense. It'll be linked in the description or in the one tab link. But yeah. So anyway, as far as what's going to be the tabs today, like I said, there's several articles regarding the Queen. Daily Wire, the Queen's visits to America and with U.S. presidents and photos. So several photos of her with different presidents. There she is with Eisenhower. Let's see, which one's this? Let's see. I can't tell who's there. Here she is with John Kennedy. Boy, look how young she looks there. Her and Prince Philip. Here she is with Richard Nixon and Patricia. Apparently the dog's hidden back there somewhere. Here she is with Gerald Ford. Here she is riding horses with Ronald Reagan. Another picture of her with Reagan. Here she came. She went to a baseball game. It was the Orioles and the A's. Here she is with George Herbert Walker Bush and George W. Bush, and with President Obama, and with President Trump. So she's been around for several presidents. There's a cool graphic on one of the. I found it on the internet somewhere. Maybe I'll put it in my Twitter feed, showing all the world leaders that Queen Elizabeth has seen during her reign. 15 prime ministers of Great Britain, several presidents, several of every country. I mean, she's been 70 years. Also in the Daily Wire, Jeff Bezos tortures a professor who called for excruciating death of Queen Elizabeth. Yeah, no picture of her with pudding brain. Did he ever, I don't know. Did she ever take a picture with pudding brain? I don't know if she did. Anyway, this is interesting. Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, slammed a Carnegie Mellon professor on Thursday who called for the death of Queen Elizabeth to be excruciatingly painful. Now, this was before Elizabeth died, when they found out that her family was going to her. Elizabeth, who ascended to the British throne at age 25, counted Winston Churchill and former President Reagan as close friends and became the longest living reigning monarch in the nation's history. She died Thursday at 96. Now, this is Professor Uju Anya, who teaches linguistics and critical race studies at Carnegie Mellon University, according to the school's website, sent out her maleficent remark via Twitter at a time the beloved Queen's death had yet to be announced. She said, "I heard the chief monarch of a thieving, raping, genocidal empire is finally dying. May her pain be excruciating." Now, that's not very nice. Now, I get it. There's people around the world who do not like anything to do with the monarch, which is fine, right? And I don't have, I personally am ambivalent to the whole thing, but I do know how to be respectful. And shit's unnecessary. So anyway, Jeff Bezos tweeted at her, "This is someone who's supposedly working to make the world better? I don't think so. Wow." Now, Bezos' tweets garnered tens of thousands of retweets and likes within a short period of time and helped blow up the professor's tweet so quickly that Twitter later removed the tweet from the platform. I also don't think that they said it was a violation of their Twitter rules. As much as I hate what she wrote, I hate the fact that they took it down. I think if they could shame her to take it down, great. But Twitter did take it down. I think it would have been more fitting had she slunk into her cave and took it down herself. But anyway, Bezos, after the news broke of the Queen's death, Anya, who hails from Nigeria, doubled down with another nasty social media missive, Quote, if anyone expects me to express anything but disdain for the monarch who supervised a government that sponsored the genocide that massacred and displaced half my family, and the consequences of which those alive today are still trying to overcome, you can keep wishing upon a star, she wrote. So she seems to have a reason to have a beef with the Queen. Though the British monarchy is largely ceremonial from a legal standpoint, Queen Elizabeth II did wonders for national morale throughout her life. Okay, this is the Daily Wire's missive. I'm sorry. Did wonders for the national morale throughout her life, especially in times of political and cultural turmoil. Yet one of her greatest achievements came early in her career when she served as a steadfast symbol following the drama that preceded her ascension to the throne in the early 1950s. Her Majesty was active during the entirety of her decades-long reign, the most well-traveled monarch in history. The Queen visited 110 countries and was received so well that major parks, cities, and statues bearing her namesake can be found in nearly every corner of the globe. She was ubiquitous in popular culture, appearing in ceremonies, sporting events, and on coins, and was the subject of films and shows. As of 2021, Queen Elizabeth II was named the third most admired woman in a global survey, and she was the only royal on the list. So that's in there. Also, Donald Trump released a statement following the death of Queen Elizabeth. He said, Melania and I are deeply saddened to learn the loss of Her Majesty the Queen Elizabeth II. Together with our family and fellow Americans, we send our sincere condolences to the royal family and to the people of the United Kingdom during this time of great sorrow and grief, Trump said in a statement with his wife and former First Lady Melania. The Queen Elizabeth's historic and remarkable reign left a tremendous legacy of peace and prosperity for Great Britain. Her leadership and enduring diplomacy secured and advanced alliances with the United States and countries around the world. However, she will always be remembered for her faithfulness to her country and her unwavering devotion to her fellow countrymen and women. Then he added, Melania and I will always cherish our time together with the Queen and will never forget Her Majesty's generous friendship, great wisdom, and wonderful sense of humor. And what a grand and beautiful lady she was. There was nobody like her. Our thoughts and prayers remain with the great people of the United Kingdom as you honor her most meaningful life and exceptional service to the people. May God bless the Queen. May she reign forever in our hearts. And may God hold her and Prince Philip in abiding care. Now, that is a very interesting statement from Donald Trump. It's a great, very eloquent statement, very deferential, and it wasn't about him. That was that's a very, very well written statement by Donald Trump, I gotta say. Also, let's see. There's a couple other artists. Elizabeth the Great, former MP John Brown salutes the Queen in the American Spectator. Also in the American Spectator, Rest in Peace, Your Majesty by Robert Taylor. You can read those on your own if you want to read these. Here's one from American Greatness, The Last Great Britain. Because I think it's going to be interesting to see how oh my gosh, because Elizabeth died on September 8th, her death will overshadow the 9/11 memorials for years to come. Not an accident. I disagree. I don't think it'll overshadow the 9/11 memorials at all. Except maybe this particular one in Great Britain. But I don't think it will, because here's the thing. The 9/11 memorials are in the United States, okay? And in fact, I would not be surprised if on that day, even this year, they will hold. Look, the United States will focus on 9/11 memorials, and certainly, for whatever it overshadows this year, I don't think it will overshadow another one, because we will not talk about the memorial of Elizabeth dying a year from now. Well, it may make a mention in the papers, but that's about it. That's my personal opinion. They have pretty much died their own. Well, here's the thing. In 4 years, when it's the 25th anniversary of 9/11, and in 31 when it's the 30th anniversary of 9/11, and then they'll have a 40th every significant time, just like we do with we still talk about Pearl Harbor Day. We still talk about those significant days in American history. So and since haven't they made some kind of a holiday, some sort of a federal holiday out of it, some kind of a memorial holiday out of it? I don't know. Let's see. And then also I have another one here, Front Page Magazine from Melanie Phillips, A Devastating Loss. So if you want to read any memorials to the Queen, you can. Like I said, I'm not going to go through them here. And there are plenty of other critics, other than Uju Avani. I mean, they said everyone discovered something called Irish Twitter over the last 24 hours. And I haven't seen the actual tweets or anything, but I've seen plenty of criticism of the Queen and the Crown and Great Britain as a colonizing imperial country, which the one thing that I think is certainly missing is I hear you here, Peggy, on this thing, the Epstein Prince Andrew thing. There's a whole piece of that part of the royal family that needs to be emphasized, but other than that, I'm fairly ambivalent. All right, just to finish up, I got a couple things. Steve Bannon turned himself in yesterday. Apparently got perp walked in handcuffs. And, it's funny because he turned himself in. Again, the handcuffs were for show, but he had some choice words for people. He said, for every conservative American, this is what happens in the last days of a dying regime. They will never shut me up. They'll have to kill me first. I have not yet begun to fight. He was a little feisty when he turned himself in. So if you want to read about that, I have a Daily Caller article about that. Also, apparently there's a Project Veritas video that we'll probably get to take a look at this afternoon. Also, we'll look at the video that Reaccion Puerto Rico sent me this afternoon. But apparently, a Democrat running for the Senate went on a rant on Project Veritas, where Crystal Matthews, state representative for this 117th district, was reportedly filmed saying white people need to be treated like shit in order to gain respect. Otherwise, they act like children. My district is slightly Republican and it's heavily white. I'm no stranger to white people. I'm from mostly a white town. And let me tell you one thing. You ought to know who you're dealing with. You ought to treat them like shit. I mean, that's the only way they respect you. Interesting. They have video clips of this in the article. I'll let you check that one out for yourself. AOC is afraid she won't live through September because you hate women. She did a GQ magazine article. Please, I laughed how this starts. Please pause for a moment and say a prayer for the vulnerable and terrified Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat from Mars, a key member of America's marginalized community of color. So marginalized, despised, discriminated against, and harassed is AOC that she had to take to the pages of GQ magazine, that plucky ragtag samizdat mouthpiece of the people, to explain just how marginalized and harassed she is. Now, full disclosure, there's an article about me in GQ magazine from, I want to say, July 2005. So if you ever want to look up Marty, Fresh Prince, and GQ, you'll find that article. Anyway, in a loving interview topped with lavish glamour shots of the rising political star, a teary-eyed AOC revealed there is such a tidal wave of misogyny in the evil, MAGA-ridden United States today that she isn't even sure she will live through the month of September. After all, you see, the far-left congresswoman is being systematically picked off, right? You don't remember? Remember, it's racist to judge Cortez by the standards of actual reality. A world-class fantasist who thrilled last year with her fears that the January 6th insurrectionists were going to kill her, and worse, painted a grim picture of life in the oppressive police state where the only thing a poor Hispanic girl from the Bronx has to look forward to is to be a congresswoman and a prospective presidential candidate and posing for glamour shots in GQ. All right, I'm being facetious, but the rest of this article is even more facetious and laughing and mocking of her because she deserves to be mocked. If you want to read about that, it'll be in the links. Also, let's see, legal insurrection. The feds have, this isn't saying that they did it, but they have appealed the use of a special master. Feds asked judge to partially stay special master order, will appeal if they don't get their way. The government seeks to stay a stay to the extent order. The order enjoins further review and use of criminal investigative purposes of records bearing classification markings and requires the government to disclose those classified records for a special master for review. So they're going to appeal the ruling. I can't remember the judge's name, Judge Can or something like that. The feds continue to leak. And then they keep leaking everything. That's the other thing. But anyway, if you want to get caught up on that fiasco, now that the feds are appealing this, you can check that out in this legal insurrection article. Oh, and John Biden, just in the world of hypocrisy, the Biden administration's climate czar, John Kerry, has flown more than 180,000 miles, emitting 9.5 million pounds of carbon. Probably on his own private jet, too. Oh, no, this is his official travel. His official travel. 180,000 miles he's flown since becoming the climate czar. More proof of global warming. Anyway. And finally, Janet Yellen, our Treasury Secretary, who has touting the fact that we have experienced one of the quickest economic recoveries in modern history. Wow. I 100% credit the Biden administration for our amazing economic recovery. Oh, wait a minute. Aren't they the one? Isn't the government the ones who shut us down? And then the government let people open their businesses? That's what happened, right? Well, still, the quickest economic recoveries in modern history. Oh, you said people could open their businesses again, and they did. Well, fan-fucking-tastic. All right, guys, I gotta go because I've run out of time. Hey, thank you for being here. I have a programming note. We'll be doing the show Monday through Thursday next week because Friday I'm going to be on a plane. So, but still normal, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. If you haven't hit the like button yet, do that before you go. I always like to try to get them likes up there. Even though we don't have a ton of people coming through, I'd like everyone to hit it. So, hit the like button before you go. Share the stream before, during, after the show. Put a comment in the comment section if you're watching a replay. And if you want to sponsor the show, hey, 24 hours a day, this PDogNight.live thing works, okay? You can't say that about YouTube Super Chats. And if you come up with some brilliance in the middle of the night, and you said, hey, I got to have Marty say that on the show, you can do that in the middle of the night. You can drop a deuce in the tip jar, put that there, and that'll be the first thing I read the next show we have. So, this afternoon, I will be doing an afternoon view show. Those are going to be my new very short shows, all 30 minutes or less, some as short as 10 minutes, just depending on whatever video we react to. I just react to a video and then get the hell out of Dodge. The first one was on, what's the date? Friday? The first one I did on Wednesday. But that was a little longer because I kind of had to introduce the concept. But our afternoon views, again, are going to be pretty much just a reaction to a video or a short article, and boom, in and out, and, try to do some more shorter content. But I don't have time to do a lot of editing. So this will be a good way to do it. And hopefully some of these videos will be interesting. You can submit videos to my Twitter DMs. My DMs are open. Or you can just comment in a comment section of a prior afternoon view video. So just do it in the afternoon views. That way I can kind of keep track of everything. All right. That's it. Thanks all who have joined us today. Appreciate you. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button, click the bell. Peggy, I appreciate you so much. I hope you join us again. I don't always talk about, in fact, I rarely talk about the Brits and the royal family and shit, but hopefully, I hope, here's a sincere hope that I have for the British family. The royal family, excuse me. Not so much Charles and all them, but I hope that someday we'll be reading about Prince Andrew. And that because he's going to be in a trial and ends up behind bars. And I won't say any rude things about any, giant guys named Bubba, because there's no real, I don't know, there's Bubba's over there. But anyway, so if that comes up in the news, you bet your ass I'll be talking about that. All right, guys, I got to go. Thanks for being here. My name is P Dog Knight, and I am out of here. Goodbye. Hey, this is P Dog Knight, and thanks for watching today on the P Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.